Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hygge with It. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've changed my hair. Today I am here to do a book haul. I've surprisingly gotten a lot of books this October, and there's a couple of books that I forgot to mention before. So we have a lot to go through, including a book outlet unboxing, so let's get into it. So I have 3 books from publishers I want to share with you. The first is actually a book that the wonderful Jen Campbell sent my way, and I forgot to mention it in my last haul. It is Franklin and Luna and the Book of Fairy Tales, and I am so excited. It is so beautiful. This is, I think, the 3rd book in this series. I bought the first book for my niece and nephew, and I really want to buy the first 2 for my shelves for Nora. So not for my shelves, for Nora's shelves. I don't know if you can hear her in the background making some cooing noises, or how long she'll want me to actually film, so we shall see. But I was so happy when she sent this my way. It made my day. I think it came 2 days before Nora arrived, and it like completed the nursery. So thank you so much, Jen, for sending this over. Very good for like a Christmas gift coming up, yes? Any little ones in your family? So that's Franklin and Luna and the Book of Fairy Tales. Next, I have 2 nonfiction books that publishers sent my way that I am extremely excited about. The first is The Art of Making Memories, How to Create and Remember Happy Moments by Mike Wiking. He is the man who wrote the Little Book of Hygge, and you guys know how much I absolutely loved that book, and I thought this is perfect timing. This, I think, just recently came out. It came out in October, early October, and I just thought this would be perfect because I have a little one and I really want to make memories with her. Obviously, I'm going to make memories either way, but if there's a way to instill that in my daily life, I would really like that. And it's beautiful. It's just as beautiful as the Little Book of Hygge. And it's got all sorts of advice on how to make amazing memories with your friends and family and just yourself. And so thrilled. This was sent to me by Penguin Random House Canada, so thank you guys. And then another book, nonfiction, that spoke to me. This one was sent from Simon & Schuster Canada. That's 24/6, The Power of Unplugging One Day a Week. And I'm trying to get more intentional. I was starting to do this just before Nora arrived. I would really like to not always be on, not always have the TV on or the internet on, like, you know, spending so much time on YouTube and everything. I think I would really like to take a little step back, and I was starting to have evenings where I would turn everything off, and I do it like once a week, and this idea is a whole day, and I think it's Sunday usually that this woman at least takes a day off, Sunday or Saturday, whatever. It can be any day of your choosing, but it's really about unplugging from anything digital, basically. And I think that sounds amazing and fantastic. So I would definitely like to read this and try to implement this into my life and see if it changes anything. I think it would make me happier. Have you guys ever done like a technology detox or digital detox? I'd love to know. So that is 24/6. Nora was not happy being in I have a little bouncy chair for her, and I was like, surely she'll love that. No, she was not. She's not sure about it. Hey, what do you think? No, not sure about that. So I went to Value Village today. I don't know when this film is going up, but I needed a little pick-me-up because I have insomnia and a newborn. So basically what happens is when Nora wakes up in the night, that is my wake-up call for the next day. And this has been like 5 days now or something like that. So sometimes it's like 3 o'clock and I'm like, that's pretty amazing that my baby slept for that long, and then I don't go back to sleep. A couple of nights ago it was 2:30. Last night it was 1:30 a.m. I have been up since 1:30 a.m. and I don't know how to stop it from happening. It's really hard. So, coffee, and books. Right now I have books. So I picked up The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I have been really wanting to read this. Now, it is not the most gorgeous copy in the world. It has a crease on the cover, which I don't like, but I've been really wanting to read this, and I've been looking and looking for it, and I found it, and so I snatched it up. This is about a woman who is a slave on a cotton plantation in Georgia. She actually escapes and she goes on the Underground Railroad, and it's kind of magical realism in a way because it's an actual railroad, and it's won the Pulitzer, and I just think it's going to be amazing, and I've been wanting to read it. What happened? Yeah. Okay, anything else? Would it make you happy if I gave you my bubby? I can breastfeed and film at the same time. Amazing. So I got the Underground Railroad, and then I also got Behind the Scenes at the Museum by Kate Atkinson. Life After Life was my favorite book of last year that I read, and this is, I think, her first book. And it says, Ruby Lennox begins narrating her own life at the moment of her conception, and from there takes the reader on a whirlwind tour of the 20th century. As seen through the eyes of a girl determined to learn more about her family and the secrets it keeps. And I mean, Kate Atkinson can do no wrong, and I would love to see where she started. So I was thrilled when I saw this in like pristine condition. It kind of made up for the crappy condition that the Underground Railroad is in. So I went to a library sale the other day, and I picked up The Rumour. This is a thriller. I actually haven't heard very much about this or anyone talking about it, but it sounded good to me. This is about a single mother who is at her son's school, and she hears a rumor that a notorious killer who committed a brutal crime as a child is now living in their midst. And she, I think, passes along the rumor and also becomes completely obsessed with the case and trying to find out who is that person. And it sounds like a lot of fun. I can't believe I haven't heard of this before. It makes me a bit nervous. I'm hoping it is good because that premise is fantastic, in my opinion. So I can always go for another thriller in my life. And then a book that I found out about from Ruth Crilly, I think her last name is. She's a YouTuber, a beauty YouTuber called A Model Recommends. She started this app, and it's called The Night Feed, and it's for new moms or just moms who are up in the night breastfeeding or bottle feeding their baby. I'm doing a mix of both. And it's a place where you can like read stories that she's written or other moms have written, and also connect and talk about like what's going on, like the challenges you're facing and everything. I've been really enjoying it. And she has a kind of book club in the app, and I think what she's chosen for October is the book you wish your parents had read and your children will be glad that you did. I went ahead over to Chapters and I picked it up full price. I never do that, but I did it for this book because I thought that it would really hit home to me. This is about intentional parenting, not being perfect, because that doesn't exist. I have put her in her little bouncer and I'm bouncing her. That seems to be working. Oh my gosh. Filming with the baby is impossible. This is the first video I've tried to film with her in the room. Oh my lord. Anyway, this is about not perfect parenting, but intentional parenting, and really looking at the history of you, like your childhood, and seeing the stuff that you have been handed, basically, and how you felt as a child and what you want to pass down to your kids. It just sounded really good, and I've just started reading it, and it's good so far. So I got that, and then Barry is a saint. Saint Barry, my husband, came home, I think it was last week, and he picked up Cilka's Journey for me. This is the second book from Heather Morris. She wrote The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and this is, I believe, based on true story. I think both of them are based on true stories, and this is about a young girl named Cilka. She went to Auschwitz. She was a Jew and sent to Auschwitz. And a German officer took an interest in her in a not so great way. And all of the people around her basically thought that she was enticing him or something, seducing him, and they all turned on her when they were all freed. And she was not trying to do anything with this German officer at all. It just, I think he like imposed himself on her. And so basically they told on her when they were freed, and she was then sent to a work camp in Siberia, I believe, which is horrifying. Like, this young girl had no choice. Anyway, I am so interested in reading this one. It sounds absolutely amazing. I really can't wait. I think it's going to be great. So that is Cilka's Journey. I definitely got a good one. And then I've got the Book Outlet box. I've got not so many, but they're all hardcover, and they're all relatively new. So before I get into the Book Outlet books, I wanted to mention that I am a Book Outlet vlogger friend. You can hop over to my page on Book Outlet and see all of the books that I've received from Book Outlet. I have really gotten some gems. Like, Book Outlet is fantastic for getting inexpensive books. They're discounted books, but they're relatively new. Like, you can usually get stuff that's like not even a year old. I got The Silent Patient on Book Outlet, and that came out in January, I think, of 2019. So it's not even year-old books. It's very exciting. But yeah, lots of backlist stuff on there too. So the first one is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. This is a story that takes place in Vermont in 1950. And it takes place in a place called Idlewild Hall. And basically, young girls who are trouble go to this hall to like get out of their family's hair, I guess. And it's a boarding school that is apparently haunted. And you meet 4 roommates that bond over their whispered fears, their budding friendship, and then one of them mysteriously disappears. And then you flash forward to Vermont 2014, and you meet Fiona, who is quite obsessed with the events surrounding her elder sister's death at Idlewild Hall. And so she like tries to investigate what actually happened. It sounds like so much fun, and I have heard really good things about this. So I am extremely, extremely excited to read this one. A book that I've had my eye on at Book Outlet for a really long time, but it's one of their more expensive books. Like, usually at Book Outlet, a hardcover will go for like $10 or $11. This one is $15. It's really not that much, considering that it's $36.99, just normal. It's Hex. This is YA. Again, oh my gosh, why do I keep testing myself with YA? I don't know, but I have been wanting to read this for a really long time. Hex is about this little town in America, I think, Black Spring, And it's haunted by the Black Rock Witch. And she is a 17th century woman whose eyes and mouth are sewn shut. What? She's muzzled, she walks the streets and enters homes at will. And she'll like stand next to kids' beds and just watch them sleep. And apparently people aren't overly terrified of her. I can't imagine that. In any case, the town has basically been in lockdown for a while now. The elders are trying to keep this witch a secret from the outside world, and it's very hard to do that with the technology being what it is. And I think these teenagers decide that they're sick and tired of the regulations. They decide to break the regulations and go viral with the haunting, and then what happens is everything kind of goes to hell because of that. And it just sounds like so much fun, and it's October. I mean, what other month would I get hex except through this one? Obviously I needed it, so I got that one. I also got Severance by Ling Ma, and this is a apocalyptic kind of story where we follow a woman who has essentially lived her life very isolated, and she doesn't really notice when Shen fever sweeps New York. Everyone is leaving. The subways stop working. Basically everyone leaves to try and escape. And she stays behind and is a blogger, and she basically walks the streets of New York and takes photos. But at some point she realizes, oh my gosh, I also need to get out so that I don't become ill and die. And she meets up with a group of survivors. And as you know, if anyone's watched like The Walking Dead or anything, when the world ends, it's usually not the zombies or stuff like that that kills you or is truly the greatest threat. It's usually the people surrounding you. And I think this dives into humanity at its worst. It's funny because this sounds terrifying, but there's little bits and pieces in this little blurb that it also sounds a little bit funny. So I'm very, very eager to read this one. I also got The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, who wrote Cilka's Journey. And it was interesting because I made this book outlet order the same day that Barry came home with Cilka's Journey, and I was like, we are meant to be for life. We are meant to be. This is very popular, like so much hype around this book. This is about a man who is sent to Auschwitz, and when his captors discover that he speaks several languages, they basically put him to work marking his fellow prisoners. So that's why he's called the Tattooist of Auschwitz. This is based on a true story, and I think the author actually sat down with this man and found out about his life. Basically what he does is he uses his position of power to help the people around him who are stuck and imprisoned. He exchanges jewels and money from murdered Jews for food to keep people alive because, as you know, so many of them were starved. And I think there is also a love story in here. He meets one of the Jewish prisoners and falls in love with her. And I am so eager to read this. Like, I almost want to read this and then Cilka's Journey back to back because they just sound so fascinating. And the fact that they're based on true stories, gosh, so interesting. And then the last book that I got is a nonfiction, and when I saw this, I was like, this is meant for me. I am all about hygge, as you know. It's in my channel name. So I saw The Danish Way of Parenting, What the Happiest People in the World Know About Raising Confident, Capable Kids. And I just thought, I should read that. That sounds like it was made for me. And when I was reading the blurb about it, I was like, yes, this is just right. It basically has 6 principles that are involved with the Danish way of parenting: play, which is essential for development and well-being. Authenticity, which fosters trust and an inner compass, which is very important to me. Reframing helps kids cope with setbacks and look on the bright side. I could use that sometimes. Empathy allows us to act with kindness towards others. No ultimatums means no power struggles, lines in the sand, or resentment. And togetherness is a way to celebrate family times on special occasions and every day. I mean, these two together, perfect. Perfect for me. I'm so excited about both of those books. So those are all of the books that I have received or bought in October. I feel so lucky. Like, I probably should have split this up into 2 videos because I have so many books here. How is this happening? How? Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you bought in October. Is there a book that you were like so excited that you found, or that you were very, very excited to read? I would love to know what that is for you, and I will talk with you later. Okay, bye guys.